A very pleasant morning, children. I, Tanima Seth, your English teacher, hope that you all are doing well. Children, in today's session, we'll learn about adjectives and its kinds. First of all, just look at these sentences. Ajit has bought a new motorcycle. Cricket is a wonderful game. There is some milk in the jar. Children, you will find in these sentences that the words which are underlined describe a noun or pronoun. Like in sentence 1, new, show what kind of the motorcycle it is. Similarly, in the second sentence, the word wonderful describes the quality of the game. And in the third sentence, the word some shows how much milk there is in the jug. So these words describe the noun or pronoun, or you can say that they give some information about it. What kind of a motorcycle it is? New. What kind of a game it is? Wonderful. How much milk there is in the jug? Some. So of course they are giving some additional information about the nouns, that is motorcycle, game and the milk. So they are called adjectives. An adjective is a word that describes a noun or a pronoun or add to its meaning. Now an adjective may be used attributively or predicatively. First, you need to understand the attributive use of adjective. It is used attributively when it is used along with a noun. And in such cases, usually the adjective comes immediately before the noun. It describes or qualifies. For example, the frightened mouse ran away. It is a sweet mango. So over here, the adjectives frightened and sweet come along with the noun mouse and mango, right? So, and as well as they are coming immediately before the noun mouse and mango to describe or qualify it. But the predicative, in the predicative use of adjective, it is used predicatively when it is used along with a verb. And in such cases, usually the adjective forms a part of the predicate itself. He is wise. This mango is sweet. So of course, wise and sweet are adjectives. They are not only forming the part of the predicate in the sentence, but at the same time, if you will notice, they are also used along with the verb is in both the sentences. So this is the predicative use of adjective. Now kinds of adjectives, of course, adjectives are of 8 different kinds, like proper adjectives, adjectives of quality, adjectives of quantity, adjectives of number, distributive adjectives, demonstrative adjectives, interrogative adjectives and possessive adjectives. So now we'll deal with all the kinds of adjectives one by one, starting with proper adjectives. Proper adjectives, as the very first name suggests, they are formed from the proper nouns. They describe a thing by referring to the proper noun. An Indian farmer, the Roman Empire. So over here, Indian and Roman are of course describing the farmer and the empire, and at the same time you can see that Indian and Roman, both these words, both these adjectives are formed from the proper nouns India and Rome. So proper adjectives are formed from proper nouns and they always describe a thing by referring to the proper noun. The second kind of adjective is the adjectives of quality. The adjectives that show the kind, quality, color, shape, size of nouns and pronouns are called adjectives of quality. Or you can say that they are used to qualify or describe a person or a thing by pointing out its kind or quality. They always answer the question of what kind or of what quality. For example, his father is a renowned professor. Good students attend to their lessons. So the adjectives renowned and good tell us the quality of the professor and the students. So such adjectives are called adjectives of quality. Then we have adjectives of quantity. Adjectives of quantity describe the quantity of something, or they show how much of a thing is intended, and they always answer the question how much. For example, there is a little tea in the kettle. He had enough money to buy a watch. So over here the adjectives little and enough are telling us the quantity of a thing. They are indicating the quantity of a thing. And as they always answer the question how much, tea, little, how much money, enough. So other than little and enough, we also have adjectives like great, some, any, which tell us about the quantity of a thing. So such adjectives are called adjectives of quantity. The fourth kind of adjective is numeral adjectives, and sometimes they are also known as adjectives of number. Now, numeral adjectives show how many persons or things are meant, or in what order a person or a thing stands. It always asks the question how many. I have 10 rupees for you. How many? 10 rupees. Here are some ripe mangoes. How many? Some. So the adjectives over here 10 and some tell us how many persons, or over here how many things there are, or in what order any of them stands. So such adjectives are called adjectives of number or numeral adjectives. At the same time, you should also remember that adjectives of number fall into two groups. One is definite numerals and the other is indefinite numerals. Definite numerals denote an exact number or an exact order. Cardinal numbers and the ordinals, you might have also studied in maths. Cardinal numbers 1, 2, 3, etc. For example, if I say 3 boys were late, so they are indicating how many, the exact number, how many boys were late. 3 boys were late. Ordinals, first, second and third. She came third in the class. So in what order? Of course, she came third. And indefinite numerals do not denote any exact number. Many, some, several. Over here as well, you can see it on the screen. Here are some ripe mangoes. They are not telling the exact number, but of course they are indefinite numerals. It is of course expressing some number of the mangoes. So these are numeral adjectives. Next we come to demonstrative adjectives. Demonstrative adjectives point out which persons or things or places are meant. It actually points out a person or a thing we speak about. And the word demonstrative itself means pointing out. They always ask the question which. This book is very interesting. These books are for sale. So in both these sentences, this and these are actually pointing out towards the book, right? So which book, this book, or which books, these books. So such adjectives are called demonstrative adjectives. Along with this and these, there are also that, those, such. This, that, these, those and such. They always point out which persons or things are meant, and such adjectives are called demonstrative adjectives. Always remember, adjectives are placed before the noun, right? And when they are used alone, then of course they will be considered as the pronouns. We use this and that with singular nouns and these and those with plural nouns. Next we come to distributive adjectives. They always show that the persons or things from a group are taken one at a time. That is, they are taken separately. Okay. So if I say each boy has got an apple, we drink tea every day, there are big houses on either side of the road. Or if I say neither book was very interesting. So the words or the adjectives over here, each, every, either, neither, they are referring to persons or things taken separately. So these words are called distributive adjectives. And they are of course used before, they are placed before the nouns. And when they will be placed or used in place of nouns, then of course they will be referred to as pronouns. The next kind is interrogative adjectives. Now, interrogative adjectives, they of course ask questions about a particular noun or pronoun. So the words what, which, whose are called interrogative adjectives when they are used with nouns for asking questions. For example, what games do you play? Which book do you want? Whose house is that? So in these sentences, what, which, whose are adjectives. They are called interrogative adjectives. Why? Because they are used with nouns like games, book, house to ask questions. Last but not the least, we have possessive adjectives. Now, adjectives which help to show ownership or possession are known as possessive adjectives, and they always answer the question whose. My bike needs repairs. Whose bike? My bike. That is your house. Whose house? Your house. So the words my and your over here show ownership or possession. They actually qualify the nouns bike and house. Therefore, they are known as possessive adjectives. Now, with this, of course, you should know one thing, and you may have already noted that some words are used both as pronouns and adjectives. As adjectives, they are followed by nouns. Always remember this. But as pronouns, they stand independently because pronouns are used, they are the words which are used instead of a noun. Like for example, if you see this in the distributive, there are distributive adjectives as well as pronouns. But if I say I can give a candy to each boy, or in demonstrative, this book is mine. Which book did you read last week? This is not my pen. So in all these, the word each, this, which and my are adjectives. Why? Because they actually qualify the noun boy, book, and again in the interrogative form book, and in the possessive pen. So therefore it is an adjective, and they are, of course, they are coming before the noun itself. But when we talk about the kinds of pronouns, distributive, demonstrative, interrogative and possessive, then of course they stand for the noun, therefore it is pronoun. For example, I can give a candy to each of us. So over here it stands for the man. This is my book. Again, it stands for the noun book. Which is your favorite book? Again, it is standing for the noun. Which is standing for the noun book. This pen is not mine. So over here, it is of course telling the possession, but at the same time, the pronoun mine actually stands for my pen. So it is used as a pronoun. So that is the difference between the kinds of adjectives, distributive, demonstrative, interrogative and possessive, and at the same time between the kinds of pronouns, distributive, demonstrative, interrogative and possessive pronouns. Alright, always remember this, that adjectives are followed by nouns, they qualify the noun and they always come before it, but as pronouns they stand independently. Last but not the least, we have comparison of adjectives. Now, of course, this brings to your mind that what are comparison of adjectives? Adjectives actually, they change in form to show comparison. So these forms are called degrees of comparison. There are 3 degrees of comparison: positive degree, comparative degree and superlative degree. Of course, in the positive degree of an adjective, it is the simplest form of the adjective and there is no comparison made in this degree. Sweet, happy, beautiful, difficult, it will be used as the main form of the word. But in comparative degree, we compare two people or things and we add er to most adjectives to form their comparative degree, like sweeter, happier. But for more longer words, we use or write, you can say, more before the adjectives. Like you can see over here, for beautiful it will become more beautiful, difficult, more difficult. An adjective in the comparative degree is followed by than. Like for example, if I say Mohan is cleverer than Rohit. So in positive degree, there is no comparison made, but in comparative degree we compare two people or things, and in superlative degree it is the highest degree of a quality. We actually happen to compare more than two people or things. Of course, these are formed by adding est to the positive degree itself. So sweet, we'll add est, it will become sweetest. Happy, happiest. And for more longer words, we use most before the positive degree itself, and then superlative degree is formed. Most beautiful, most difficult. It is used, of course, as I have told you, when we compare more than two people or things, and the definite article the is used before the superlative degree. So if I say a sweet girl, a sweeter girl, but it will not be considered as a sweetest girl, it will be the sweetest girl. Again, a beautiful rose, a more beautiful rose, the most beautiful rose. Remember one fact about it, that no two comparative or two superlative adjective forms can be used to describe a single quality of a noun. For example, if I say he is the tallest boy in the class, this is correct. But if I'll say he is the most tallest boy in the class, that is wrong. Either you should say he is the tallest boy in the class, or he is the most tall boy in the class. So mostly the correct form is he is the tallest boy in the class. Always remember this. Two comparative or two superlative adjective forms cannot be used to describe the single quality of a noun. Either you put er or est at the end, or you can, for the more longer words, you can use more or most before the particular adjective. Again, positive, no comparison. Comparative, it is, of course, comparison is made when we compare two people or things, and in superlative when we compare more than two people or things. So these are the three degrees of comparison. Comparison of adjectives: positive, comparative, and superlative. So children, I conclude the session over here. Go through the video again, revise the topic thoroughly, attempt the exercises, practice by attempting these exercises given in your book as well. Okay then, thank you. Bye-bye.